Good morning, friends, and welcome to Wednesday, a brand new day. It is September 10th, and I appreciate you joining me here for Morning Pulse. Hopefully your day is off to a good start so far. I'm Kelsey Marier, your host and producer for this mini digital newscast, bringing you top headlines in Southeast Minnesota and Northeast Iowa. Again, it is Wednesday. We're halfway through the week, and hopefully you have a bright day ahead of you, but I want to make sure you know what's going on in our area to get your day going. So we have three news stories we're bringing you today. We have one in Northeast Iowa or Northern Iowa, and the other two are in the Southeast Minnesota area. So we're going to actually start with our Northern Iowa story, and that is because we have an update to a story that I actually brought you yesterday on Morning Pulse, and we brought you yesterday on the morning newscast on KTTC. We also sent a push notification to your phone from our KTTC News app about this story, and so I just wanted to make sure if you missed any of the coverage of this brand new update in Northern Iowa that you know what's going on. So that update, unfortunately, is not a happy one. It's regarding a missing persons case out of Mason City, Iowa. Well, the police department unfortunately says it has found the body of 34-year-old Kaylin Ingersoll. Officers had actually received a tip of an unresponsive woman who was found in a storage unit. This was around 7:15 Tuesday morning. Kaylin had been missing since Friday, and that is something that we had reported to you, that they were still searching for her, and unfortunately this case kind of coming, or the discovery coming to a close that was not wanted necessarily. But right now an investigation into her death is underway. That is kind of the next step in this case here. But investigators believe and say that there is no suspicion of foul play in this case. So that is something important to note. They are still investigating the cause of this death and kind of the circumstances around it, but no cause for concern about suspicion, about foul play, rather. So that is just an unfortunate update to a story that we wanted to continue our coverage on with you. All right, let's move into our next story, which any parents that have kids within the Rochester Public School District, this may pertain to you, or maybe news that you want to know about. So kind of some big news for the Rochester Public School District. It's aiming actually to close 3 of its school buildings in the near future here. So the board proposed the closures of Friedel Middle School, the former Mighty Oaks Early Learning Building, and the vacant Skyline Elementary School building. So those are the 3 buildings that are being proposed to close. All 3 are closing for a couple of main reasons here. Those include district expense reductions of about $13 million for 2026 and 27, and declining enrollment. And although these school buildings could no longer be a part of the district, they're not really being used right now, the programs in them, the programs that are using these buildings will need to be finding new homes, because the district is proposing to sell these buildings off, essentially. So a final vote on what is at stake for the 3 buildings is set for September 23rd, so coming up here in a little over a week, with probable sales to follow for those buildings. So we'll continue to follow this story, but yeah, kind of just some big news coming out of Rochester Public School District that we wanted to make sure you were aware of. And our third story for today's Morning Pulse news segment is staying in Minnesota, and it actually has to do with the legislature, or kind of elections, I guess you could say, for the state of Minnesota. We're talking about somebody has announced their run for a House seat.
You know why? Where there's freedom, where and supportive friends is really forward to represent you, to hear. And I'm going to talk for,
she's going to be
I won't talk like and what that feels like in our lives.
She is part of the DFL party.
Sort of a daunting, I didn't know what I was doing, but
that represents parts of Olmsted and Dodge counties.
It's about those values.
You may recognize her name a little bit. So she
you
actually
know why?
ran
Where
for
there's
the same seat
freedom.
last year,
Where
lost.
and supportive friends is
And
really
we'll
forward to represent you, to hear.
Just to
and
give
I'm
a
going
little
to
bit
talk
more
for.
information about her.
I won't talk
what
and what that feels like in our lives.
And projection is for why
sort of a
she's
daunting,
running. She
I didn't know what I was doing, but I
and that they deserve leadership that listens, solves problems, and puts people
about those
first.
values.
She is running on a number of issues
You know
here
why?
too,
Where
including
there's
protecting local
freedom,
government aid for
where
those rural
and supportive
communities.
friends is really forward to represent you to hear. And I'm going to talk
that is
for.
the announcement from
I won't
Heather
talk
Holmes
like
for House
and what
Seat
that feels like in our
24A.
lives.
Now, House Seat
And,
24A is currently
sort of a daunting.
held
didn't know what
by
I was doing, but I.
Dwayne Kwong of Byron, and he also is going to be seeking
about those
re-election
values.
for this seat. So now we know these two
You
for
know
sure are
why?
going to be going
Where
up against
there's
each other,
freedom, where
in
and
next
supportive
election.
friends
According
is
to
really
Kwong's
forward
website,
to
we obviously gave a little
represent you to
information
hear.
about
And I'm going
Holmes
to talk
and
for.
her,
I won't talk
like
and what that feels like in our lives.
Kwong's side, I
And,
want to make sure we're being fair
sort of a
and
daunting.
balanced
Didn't
here.
know what I was
He
doing,
says
but
that
I.
he stands on a platform of limited and sensible government, fiscal
about those
responsibility,
values.
and free enterprise. So those are some of his
You know why?
values and
Where
issues that
there's
he's looking to
freedom,
where
and supportive friends is really forward
but yeah, he now
to
has a new
represent you to hear.
essentially,
And I'm going to talk for.
in
I won't
2026.
talk
So
like, and
those
what
are
that
just some
feels
things we
like in
wanna
our
make sure
lives.
you knew about in
And,
case you live
sort of
in
a daunting.
those areas.
Didn't know what I was
these-
doing, but I.
one of these people could be your potential next representative. So
about those
that
values.
is what I have for the news
You
segment.
know why?
For
Where there's freedom.